Even for those of us who have not spent hours in front of the screen watching the Tokyo Olympics, the success of our athletes, as well as the games themselves, in such challenging circumstances, has been something to celebrate. To see smiling faces and the news headlines rather than grim figures and fearful predictions has brought a welcome sense of balance to our existence in a time of turmoil. The clear message which we're receiving in events throughout the world, as well as in our own country, seems to be that even as we continue to vaccinate people, our lives are going to be subject to disruptions and challenges due to COVID for quite some time to come. That's a sobering and potentially depressing thought. Personally, I long for the day when things get back to normal, whatever I think that is. I feel downhearted hearing endless stories of people out of work and businesses struggling to stay open, to say nothing of the vast financial debt we're bequeathing to the next generation. It feels to me like cracks are appearing through every aspect of daily life, including the things that we thought were secure. Who could ever imagined a time when we wouldn't even be allowed to have a choir singing in this cathedral? Surprisingly, the Christian gospel tells us that this state of brokenness has the potential also to be a state of great blessedness. The Beatitudes begin with the statement, "Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven." This is a very counterintuitive statement for a world that so highly values perfection and success. To me, feeling poor in any aspect of my life doesn't feel blessed, because it means I'm out of control. But Jesus says, "Blessed are you when you're poor. Blessed are you when you're poor in spirit. Blessed are you when you mourn." He doesn't feel very blessed. Yet we know that the hero of the Christian story is not a triumphant monarch, but a humble Jewish teacher, preacher, prophet, who was rejected by both church and state, betrayed by his friends, and crucified amongst criminals on a hill outside the city walls of Jerusalem. Outside the city walls, the place of his spiritual home. And yes, he was the Son of God. But on the third day, the miraculous happened, and Jesus triumphed over all evil once and for all. So the gospel tells us that brokenness and failure need never be an end in themselves. And so if, like me, you are feeling like the world around you is beginning to show some scary cracks, or even that the world within you is not as together as it used to be, as uncomfortable as that might seem to you, perhaps this is an opportunity to allow God to do new and great things through us. When we come to the point of recognizing that things are beyond our control, then we're most open to recognize that the safe hands of God are just waiting for us to entrust ourselves into them and our future into God's hands. And when we feel safe in the present, even in the midst of turmoil, we are free to do our most creative and beautiful work of our lives. When we're not trying to impress anyone, not trying to prove ourselves to anyone, not comparing ourselves to anyone else, our talents or failures, not preoccupied with the future, but simply allowing God to lovingly work through us just as we are in the present, then strangely our weakness can become our strength, and we discover light and life within us that we did not know was there. Then it is often through the new light flowing through the cracks in our lives that God light flows throughout to others. And so we may respond with a deep joy and thanksgiving, even in the midst of our challenges, with the words of the sentence for tonight's service from Psalm 34. "O taste and see how gracious the Lord is. Blessed is the one who puts their trust in him." Amen.